to fix up that house, whether it be some kind of a tax break or whatever, but we would have to monitor that. You know, if let's say they buy the house and they decide to tear it down, build a new house, you know, give them a better break than you know, just somebody fixing up a house. You know, and with bringing families in, whether it's a younger couple or elderly, you know, I just think that when some of these other specialty shops come in, I think that's going to attract some of the families. I honestly believe that. So that would be one of my big things is to fix up some of these older homes. You know, make them attractive. Like Andrea said, you know, get the code enforcement and start. You know, you don't want them to really come down hard on people, but you know, if their house is just unattractive and a bunch of junk in the yard or whatever, make them clean it up. Thank you.
Do you mind repeating that question one time, please?
What are your ideas for encouraging younger professionals to consider moving into the Heights, living here, working here?
Thank you. I'm pretty sure everybody knows who I am. To answer that question, I think a lot of people here can agree with it, but we do have a lot of younger people coming back to the Heights that graduated from the Heights because this is their home that they want to live in and start a family in. So as far as cleaning up, everybody can do a cleanup. I can tell you that our houses in the Heights look 10 times better than in Peoria. Trust me, I just went and looked at a few houses, and the pricing in the Heights, they're hard to come by. Actually, the houses are for somebody to even buy because they go so quickly. So I think that our housing market in the Heights does pretty well. Everybody can do a cleanup. I mean, yourself can do a cleanup. There are some houses that look worse than others, but as far as getting the younger community, the younger lives, the younger generation to come to the Heights, I think we do pretty good on that. I could be wrong, but I see a lot of people moving back to the Heights, young kids. Our kids are staying in the Heights. They're buying houses in the Heights. They're going back to our school, teaching at our school. So I think we're moving in the right direction, to be honest with you. Thank you.
Matt, we'll go first on the next question. As you know, the school districts in Peoria County are considering putting on the ballot for 2014 a 1% increase in the sales tax for the entire county. If that were approved, it would go toward capital improvements for school districts that would be placed on all businesses except for food and drugs in Peoria County. That 1% sales tax increase would put Peoria Heights at 9.25%. January 1st of 2012, Peoria Heights raised the sales tax 0.5% to its current 8.25%. The 1%, if approved by referendum, would make it 9.25%. That would put you second highest in the state of Illinois, behind Elgin and Niles, Illinois at 9.5%. What is your position on the 1% proposed sales tax increase that would be used for school districts, although it be applied to businesses in the Heights?
I'm actually opposed to that because I believe that to create a business-friendly atmosphere in the Heights, I mean, we can't have a sales tax that's 9.25%. That's almost 10% sales tax. I mean, I understand the money will be going to capital improvement projects for school districts, and that's very important. But I think this is just a perfect example of the state sort of giving their responsibility for education funding to consumers. And I think it's going to disproportionately affect the Heights because obviously we have a lot of small businesses where the margins are razor thin. I mean, this isn't, we don't have any Walmarts or Costco in Peoria Heights that could perhaps afford that sort of sales increase, sales tax increase. So, I mean, I'm going to oppose it, and I do oppose it. I think that we need to be business friendly, and I think that the state needs to own up to its responsibility for education funding instead of passing the buck to local communities here. Thanks.
I too would have to oppose any additional tax for the Village of Peoria Heights. If the school district needed it, I think that would be different. So it's my opinion that it would be left up to the voters. If the voters in Peoria Heights choose to raise the sales tax, then so be it. But currently I am opposed to any higher sales tax in Peoria Heights.
I also oppose that. You know, it's just like what I was talking about earlier, trying to get these businesses in here. You know, that's not going to help them one bit. You know, they're going to see that, and they're going to want to go somewhere else. So we, you know, I strongly oppose that, and that's about all I can say.
Can I ask a question on that? Is that just for, I mean, that would be across the state, right? So Peoria,
It would be for Peoria County.
be Peoria County. So if you're saying that it would make us the second,
It would make Peoria Heights in the city of Peoria.
the city of Peoria, okay, that's,
Most communities would have a 9.25% rate, and that would be the second highest in the state.
so here's,
Chicago and many
right.
suburbs.
Okay, so here's my reaction to that is if the city of Peoria, if this passes, obviously, I'm two-sided here because there's just more than just a simple yes and no. I mean, I would want to know more about it. If the city of Peoria, if you're going to pay 9.5 or 9.25 or 10% in Peoria, and you're going to come here, we should get that benefit also, my opinion. So, and then that would go towards the school. I'm definitely for the schools. Anything we can do to make the school is a great school, but to make it better and to have that income so they can allow to have better things for the school, yeah, I'm for that. But like Andrea said, it would really depend on the voters. Would I vote for it? Knowing what you just told me, no, but I would want to dissect it a little bit more to see exactly what entails on that tax, not just some in 2014 it's going to go up. So that's my voting. Thanks.
You know, I think we've been very fortunate in Peoria Heights with our school district, and former Superintendent Roger Bergia left the school district in the black, which I know a lot of districts in the state and across the country can't say right now. With this being a Peoria County tax, the first question I have would be, what are the financial statements for the other school districts in the community or in the county outside of 150? Is this primarily to fund capital projects for District 150? I mean, Brimfield just built a new school here not too long ago, so I would think that they should be in the black, but I mean, I really don't know, but I'm opposed to it. If we raise sales tax by another %, that many more businesses are going to jump across the river and go to East Peoria. If this goes through, East Peoria is just going to be smiling and continuing to collect money. It seems like every time we make lemons over here in Peoria County, East Peoria and Tazewell County just makes some really nice tasting lemonade out of it, and I'd hate to see that happen. We actually, with the amusement tax in Peoria, we would still be a little bit 1% cheaper for restaurants and bars, and also still gasoline. But no, I'm incredibly opposed to that. I think we're being taxed to death in the country and in the state right now. And obviously, if the school was in a worse financial situation, that might change. And I know that can change at any time. Surpluses can disappear very quickly these days. But as of right now, I am opposed to that 1% increase for Peoria County.
Ready to move forward? All right. What ideas do you have for generating new revenue for the village? I bet you're pleased about that.
Oh, goodness. New revenues for the village. I really don't know how to answer that. I think just for the fact that I work in the township office and I see people coming in and paying fines, and I'm going to tell you in the last couple of weeks, there have been a lot of people coming in paying $500 fines. Now, that's revenue for the village. Creating new revenue, I don't think we can raise any of our fees that we currently have. I guess it would just come through economic development, and that would be bringing business to the Heights.
You know, I really don't know how to answer that question myself. I mean, you know, everybody, when they get into these positions, they have these ideas that they want to throw out there. You know, they want to just jump and go with it. But I think we all know that it's up to the taxpayers that want to hear the right answers. You know, I know I keep on going back to the economic development, but I mean, that is one of the things that I believe that we really need to do is just get out and reach out to these different businesses, you know, and once that happens, you know, you get some new families here in town, and obviously that'll help get them spending some money here in the Heights. You know, unfortunately, there are a lot of people that live here that go outside of the Heights and spend their money, and we don't need that. We have plenty of things here, especially in the restaurants. You know, come here, spend your money here. We want to see that. But you know, my big thing is the new stores, especially the specialty shops.
To bring in more revenue, I go back to the getting new business into our community, and to maintain our businesses that we have right now and making sure that they do well, and to also get our K-9 dog back in here so he can start pulling over and getting those drug busts. That helps us bring in revenue. That's about it. You got to get business in here, maintain the business, and maintain the community.
You know, once again, we need to team up with the chamber to promote the village, promote our economic sector, that this is a fantastic place to do business. One of the ideas that I have for the Cohen's building, actually, if it's found to be that we can have retail space in there with minimal remodifications, because we've got 3-foot floors enforced with rebar, and it's a developmental mess right now. But if that could function, I'd really like to see like a microbrewery in that location, in conjunction with a Pabst and Peoria Area Distillers Museum. I think that'd be an incredible opportunity to display not only the history of the Heights, but in our relationship with Pabst, but also Central Illinois' long-standing relationship with Beverage Distillery. I think it'd be a huge opportunity and something that might be able to get the ball rolling with the Cohen's property, if that is feasible. I also think we have a huge opportunity, not this year, but coming up later in the fall and next spring, with the completion of the hiking biking trail that will come through the downtown sector. I don't know if anyone's familiar with the Broad Ripple neighborhood in Indianapolis. It is Indy's neighborhood that is very similar to the Heights. Lots of great boutique shopping, eclectic restaurants, fine cuisine, very nice bars and nightclubs. And they also happen to have the Monon Trail, which is the hiking biking trail in Indianapolis running through it. And they utilize the trail for vendors. They have push carts out there in the summer, drink vendors, rollerblade, and bicycle rentals. These are all things where we can generate more revenue for the Heights in the future. But once again, I think we just really need to get aggressive with our marketing and not wait for businesses to come here to the Heights, but we need to reach out to them and show them that this is a fantastic place to be.
Well, I think Trustee Cumming hit a few of the nails on the head there. I'll kind of reiterate some of the points. I think most importantly, perhaps, is working with our community partners, for instance, the Chamber of Commerce, promoting the village and getting our message out there. The Heights, we also do, I think, a good job. We could always do a better job, but we have some wonderful festivals. You know, we have music, Tower Park Fest, we have races in the Heights. Continue to support those type of things that maybe they don't directly result in more revenue that day, but they bring people back to the community and they bring people to the businesses and to the restaurants. I also think that there's a couple opportunities that the Heights can hopefully capitalize on. We could sort of, we're pursuing folks to there be a gas station on War Memorial where Leonardo's would be. If that could potentially be in the future, that could be a nice steady revenue source for the Heights. There's also always phase 2 of the Heritage Square, as Trustee Cumming mentioned earlier. And I think it's also important to remember too, though, that our budgets have been balanced, and so we're not in the deficit by any means. Revenue is great, and that's wonderful, but if we can live within our means and present a lean budget that provides all the services for the citizens of the Heights, but do that relatively inexpensively, then I think we've done our job. So, thanks.
Thank you. Our next question, Meredith will go first. And you mentioned balanced budget, but knowing the state of Illinois, the question is, if cuts are needed, where would you look? To staff, to events like the music festival, or elsewhere?
Well, to me, I'm an electrician, and I'm part of Local 34, and cutting staff. You know, I mean, sometimes you do have to look at that, but part of my job is to employ people. So that would be a possibility, but to me, that would be a last possibility. You know, I would just have to look elsewhere. I mean, off the top of my head, I don't know. I just have to look at things, look at different places where you could cut some spending. Obviously, if it did come down to you know, cutting staff, you would just have to look at what they do, what is their purpose. You know, and it would be a hard decision. Everybody wants to make sure that they wake up and go to work. They want to have a job, especially people that's been in positions for a long time. So to me, I would have to look somewhere else. But obviously, if it came down to it, that would be an option. But it would be a last option.
Knowing the budget, because I'm a trustee now, so I kind of know where we're at on it. But we've done well. We're probably one of many, not many, but we're one of communities that are in the black or not in the red. So we didn't have to cut staff. We don't plan on cutting staff. We don't plan on cutting the Music Fest. The Music Fest is like a marketing tool for us. We have people that come out of town that come to this Music Fest. I mean, they let us know, you know, when it's happening, are you making sure that we're going to have it again? If we had to, right now we're looking at the budget, and the managers of each department, they look at the budget on what can they cut. And they've done a very good job at doing that. And it's rough, and the state needs to, you know, come up with their money too. They owe everybody in the neighborhood. But so as far as cutting staff, I'm going to tell you, no, we're not going to do that. We haven't done that, and we're going to look at other means before we ever do that. And we're going to keep the marketing tool going because it's working for the community. Thank you.
You know, as a business owner in the Heights and being responsible for 5 other families other than my own, you know, the last thing I want to do is put somebody out of a job. You know, at the cost of reducing the level of services that we have here in the village. You know, there's always a way. I would not cancel the Tower Park Music Festival. You know, I mean, right now, and it's just not in the Heights, but all over the place. I mean, there's not really a good sense of community anymore. I mean, do we really know our neighbors as well as we used to 20, 30 years ago? No, and the Tower Park Music Festival is a way for the village to give back to the community, to throw a party, come out, celebrate with us another year down, come out, meet your neighbors, have a beverage, have a pork chop sandwich from Alwyn's, listen to some great bands, go up on the tower, just get out and meet the people in your community. You know, and it's the closest thing that we have to the old street fests and Heights village picnics that we used to have back in the 70s. And I think it's really important to have a sense of community these days. Yes, we are in the black right now. Could that change? Yes, it could. You know, as Cheryl alluded to, we can't depend on replacement money from the state. If anything, their situation just continues to get worse and worse. I also would hate to see us go into a deficit situation where we needed to perhaps borrow money through a bond. I'm not sure if anyone read the article last week about the bond rating services. Well, the financial rating firms kind of dropped Illinois down to a A- rating because they felt that the state had intentionally misled them about the pension deficit situation. And because of that, not only does the state of Illinois pay more in debt service for any bonds that they would issue, but that could potentially raise the rate for any bonds that that we might have to issue. And once you've gone down that road and we're paying debt service, it's tough to play catch up, especially when you can't depend on the state to come through with the replacement tax or the Medicaid. We still have motor fuel tax, but for how much longer or in what quantity? So I think it's really important right now to maintain the services and the events that we have. But as I said, if we do need to cut something to stay in the black, then we'll cross that bridge when we get there. And at that point in time, obviously we'd listen to the public and what they thought was appropriate, and we'd have to make a tough decision from there. Thank you.
Obviously, Peoria Heights is not unique in that we're owed money by the state of Illinois. But we are a little bit unique in our situation where we haven't yet reached a crisis. I think that's fair to say. And in the 15 months that I've been on the board, I helped pass the 2012 budget. There's not much fat there to cut. And I would invite everybody to take a look at that. You can go on the Village of Peoria Heights website, villageofpeoriaheights.org. Under Finance, there's the 2012 budget. And you guys can, and everybody can see, and we've done a good job of trimming the excess fat and trimming where we could without touching personnel. Obviously, nobody wants to do that, and that's not something that I think anybody anticipate doing in the near future. When it comes down to events like Tower Park Music Fest, I think was mentioned, realistically, that's, you know, the exact number I don't know, but it's less than 1/10 of 1% of our budget. It's a very minuscule part of our budget. I think last year we spent less than $8,000, okay? Because we get a lot of sponsors, we get a lot of people coming to the community, we get people buying tickets and T-shirts, things like that. So I don't think anybody is at that point where we're going to look at that and cut that. It's a very small part of the budget, and I think it's also a good marketing tool, as was mentioned before. It gets people into the Heights and seeing our shops and seeing the village. But no, I don't anticipate any major cuts in the this year, in the coming budget. And I would invite everybody to come to our budget talks. These are open meetings, encourage the public to attend, and that way we can kind of get a feel of what you're thinking and what you're, what you see about the budget. If you can't make it to the meetings, just email us, call us, let us know, because we really appreciate feedback to let us know how you're thinking about this. So again, I would be against any personnel layoffs, and I don't anticipate any cuts coming here in the upcoming budget. Thanks.
As far as I know, the village has never had to cut staff, and I don't foresee that in the future. They may have to maybe freeze salaries or something if we really get in need of money. Maybe not have summer help. There are places that you can cut without really hurting the services that we give to the Heights. As far as the Music Fest and that, I understand it brings in a lot of people. My only suggestion would be perhaps we could get bands locally that aren't quite as expensive as what we pay for the bands. That way we would make more money. And I understand last year they did seek donations, and that helped out a lot. So, but as far as I'm concerned, cutting staff is off the table.
This is your last question. 4 times, so, yeah, you are. But in order so we can get to the mayors and people can still depart within a reasonable hour tonight, we're gonna limit your answer to this question to 1 minute. Okay. 1 minute, okay? So, most who talk about Peoria Heights talk about it in this way. It's got some fabulous locally owned businesses, particularly restaurants, and then other boutique businesses. Some consider this a booming place because of that. Other municipalities may be a little envious in that area, but it has created a parking issue for your business district. And so what can and should be done to improve your parking